Hi guys, it's Abu Pasha here again. For the last month I've been busy sorting out two property deals, which is why you haven't seen much of me. The properties are in Darlington and Stockton, which are in northeast of England. So I decided to take a day off from my day job and took a trip up to northeast England from London, where I live. And I wanted to check out the areas that I was going to be buying these two properties in. The two areas that I was looking in were Darlington and Stockton. And for those interested in seeing what Darlington and Stockton's town centres are like, keep watching. Here you see me entering King's Cross station. And this was an early day for me, an early start. I woke up at around 4:30 AM, got on the train from Harrow to King's Cross at around 5:30 I think it was, and the train departs King's Cross at about 6:15. So now that I know the platform that I've got to go to, off I headed. And just to make doubly sure, to ensure that I don't end up on the wrong train and in the wrong part of England, I made sure that this was in fact going to Darlington. And as you see here, Darlington, arrival time 09:08. Nice and early. One thing that amazed me was that even though the time was 6:15 AM in the morning, this was on a Friday, so on a weekday, there were plenty of people boarding the train, plenty of staff, plenty of passengers walking around. Normally rush hour tends to start in London typically around 7 AM, 7:30 or thereabouts. But this was 6:15 and there was still a lot of passengers and people around. So, 3.5 hours after leaving my home in London and travelling, I arrived in Darlington. Napier Street. This is where my next property purchase is located, and this should complete on the last day of June of this year, which is 2022. This street is located very close to the high street, which is nice. It's a good area, it's a clean road, there are no undesirables hanging around, and I personally would have no issues living here. So this will be a great rental unit. And it's within walking distance of the train station, there's a Sainsbury's nearby, and very close to the town centre. And before I show you what's in Darlington town centre, I'd appreciate if you could drop a like and a subscribe. It helps the channel grow and your support is appreciated. Back to the video. And here you can see Darlington town centre. You can see what shops are present. So if you do decide to either buy a rental property or even decide to move here, you'll actually see what's available to whoever lives in that property. Right, the town centre is actually located on a very steep hill, which isn't clear on the video, but when you try and walk up towards the town centre, you'll feel every bit of the incline, so it is a hill. And you can see some steps here as well, but it really is a hill. There's some market stalls. I found that there are a lot of independent stores sprinkled around with some chain stores. Lots of bakeries and cafes. Don't quite know what that is. I think it might be some sort of amusement centre, some sort of bingo. Right, this was a very windy day, so I've had to turn down the volume of the original video while I'm doing this voiceover, but it really was windy that day. It was quite, the sun was beating down hard as well, so it was kind of warm and cold at the same time. It felt good. It was good weather when I went down there. There are a lot of shops here, and I didn't cover them in the video. Don't know what's down there. Yep, you've got Poundland even over there. And all the shops are located in buildings which have a lot of character, so this isn't a new development. These are character buildings. That's Cornmill Shopping Centre. We'll visit that in a few minutes, and you'll see what's inside there. And on the left-hand side, you've got Barclays Bank. Quite an opulent, splendid building. But yep, that's Barclays Bank. You can see I'm actually climbing up a hill, because as people are walking down, you can see it's almost like they're having to prevent themselves from going too fast. But this is a steep hill that I'm climbing.
Another bakery.
Lots of bakeries, as I said, eateries. Ice cream for £1.
Ice creams from £1.
This was on a Friday morning, by the way. This would have probably been around 10 AM, so people hadn't yet come out, but I can imagine this getting really busy on a Saturday and a Sunday. This place will be absolutely heaving. It'll be a very busy place. Got Ryman. That looks like some sort of shopping centre. I don't think I went in there. I didn't go in there. Got Nationwide Building Society, Santander. That was HSBC, just on the left, that building. Again, no new buildings here. They're all very old school character buildings. It's your mobile phone shop, cell phone EE. And here we are now going to enter into the Cornmill shopping centre, you'll see. And I do a little bit of a walk around. I don't visit all the shops in there, but we'll get an idea as to what is actually in there. We'll get a good idea of the vibe. So again, there are still quite a lot of independent shops in here. There are some bigger chain stores, like JD Sports and Primark, but there's a lot of independents as well. There's HMV. I mean, we're in 2022. I didn't even know that HMV existed now, but it clearly does. I remember visiting HMV when I was 15, 16 years old. So, I mean, 30 years ago. So it's been around for a long time. Yep, another cafe. Again, these are independent cafes. It's a shop called Body Care. I went in there. They do sell a lot of hygiene products, you know, shower gels, soaps. There's Primark. There's Superdrug.
I ain't going down there. But what the hell is that?
There is a downstairs section, but I never bothered going there. Yep, Superdrug.
Superdrug? It's like a right tourist. King of trainers.
And this is JD Sports. Now that concluded my tour of Darlington. From there I walked back to Darlington Station, and along the way I stopped off at Sainsbury's, which is the biggest supermarket in the area, where I bought some peanuts and bananas. And then I took the train to Thornaby train station, where I was going to walk towards Stockton. Thornaby and Stockton are located very close to one another, and I got off at Thornaby, and then the plan is to walk to Stockton and go through the town centre, walk the streets to get an idea of what the area is like, and later on I would go on to do a viewing for a property that I was interested in buying in Stockton. So here you see me walking towards Stockton town centre after alighting at Thornaby station. So just to recap, why did I do this? Well, I've been thinking of buying another property in the area. I already have one in Thornaby, but I want to buy another one, and before I do so, I'd never actually been to Stockton, so I thought it would be a good idea to do a walkthrough. Before buying a property in a new area, it's always good to get an idea of the area. The first property I bought was in Thornaby, and someone else did the viewing for me, and he knows the area. That was back in 2020. So you can see Lidl, so that's your local supermarket if you want to buy some food and groceries. And here you can see the pedestrian bridge which runs over the River Tees. It's a nice view. It was nice weather, it was cool, and the sun was beating down. It felt good. And here now we arrive at Stockton Town Centre. So we were at Darlington, now we're at Stockton. The time here is roughly around 12 midday. So you get an idea as to how much pedestrian traffic there is, how much traffic in general. There's Poundland. So those who live in this area will visit this place for their retail shopping needs. Bear in mind, this is a Friday around 12 midday, and on a weekend I can imagine this place getting very, very busy. And this was just a walkthrough to see some of the shops. Most of the shops here I found were the big retail chain shops as opposed to independents. In Darlington you get a lot of independent stores, here you get the big chain stores. Right, you've got Boots, JD Sports, these are all big retail chain stores that most people have heard of. Those are Clinton cards. Got another Poundland. Renew IT, not sure what that is. Got River Island there. And as you can see, the street is already getting relatively busy. There's a lot of people walking up and down the street. There's WH Smith. So even though it's Friday, roughly 12 o'clock, midday, there's still quite a lot of people here. On weekends, this place is going to get really busy, no question about it. Clean, nothing wrong with it. I would be happy to shop here. And here you can see me sitting down for my lunch break, where I ate the bananas and peanuts that I bought previously. And there's some nice fountains there. It was a lovely day. It was cold, it was windy, but the sun was beating down like a heater. And this is the street that I was viewing a house on. Before viewing it and possibly making an offer, I wanted to check that the street was okay, so that's what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing is looking for undesirable people hanging around the street and also boarded up properties. I'm also checking for noise, and people generally don't want to live in noisy areas. But the street was very quiet, which is fantastic. I'm looking for anything that would put me or a prospective tenant off of living here. And a little heads up for you, and you'll see it in future videos, but after viewing the property I submitted my offer and it was accepted. So the next property purchase after the one in Napier Street, which I visited earlier in this video, this will be the next property after that. So this should complete probably in around September, October time, maybe October the 1st, we should have the keys to the property on this street. So yeah, so this street was fine. I'd be happy to live here, and we should soon have the keys to the property. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.